Hey, fat fish heads! It's time for another edition of the hottest new podcast on all platforms, Fat Fish. Sit back and strap yourself in for the wildest ride on the open seas. Now, flap your fins for the fabulous Fat Fish brothers, Eric Fish Snyder and Brad Grunny Grunberg, a.k.a. Snacks.
Hey. Wow. Number 100. How do you feel? We did 100 of these episodes, and we're ending it with the best. The best
Cathartic.
interviewer, the best guy, Tony Orlando.
He's going to be a three-time. He's 3 of the 100. So
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Not only is he one of the legendary entertainers of the 20th century, 21st century, big fan, but it's such a pleasure. But you asked me how I feel doing this. I told you this when we did a little rehearsal. Cathartic. This is therapy for me. I love being with you. Love when you give me shit. I love giving you shit. And one day we'll get paid for it.
Yeah, hopefully sooner than later. But you know what? It's not all about money. We've had a great ride. It's so much fun. We're going to continue the ride, and in a different way. We'll tell the audience that. And but I got to. Tony always brightens my life when I see that face. I hear those stories, and it's going to be great. I'm excited.
Of the 100 podcasts, and I'll say this: when we had his son John Orlando on, I want to say it was podcast 44. And he told a story about gambling with Michael Jordan. You think of the top 10 podcast moments you've had?
Yes.
So we get Tony, and then John. I've met John. John, you come to the bar. He's a great kid, but wow, that story still resonates in my mind.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It was raining, pouring rain in Brentwood.
Yeah, and then Mom's Saloon was in Brentwood, so I say I'm on the show. Did you know Olinda Ehrenberg? Because yeah, I go. She was a big customer of mine, and he worked with her. So that symbiosis is great. 6 degrees of separation. I think Tony's in the queue. Let me take you out. Let me bring Tony in so he can be in the middle, and then bring you back in. Okay?
Perfect.
Hey, Tony.
Hey,
let me bring Brad
in,
and then we'll get this thing going.
Is this him?
Hey, Tony, did you pay your electric bill?
Yeah.
I'll send you some money. What are you? The Tales from the Crypt? Are you in the dark? What's going on over there? Tony?
He froze on us.
Oh, he froze on us. Okay,
he looks great though, doesn't he?
He looks great. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Let me see. We'll try and get him back if you could contact his daughter. But I didn't know what's that vampire series, Twilight?
Wasn't it Tales from the Crypt?
Well, that's too.
That's different. Yeah. No, Tony froze.
Oh, I don't know what is.
Tony froze.
I feel like I lost because they're.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it again.
Let's see if we can come back.
Number 100. We got a couple bumps in the road here. It's okay.
Hey, always, but we saw him.
We got Tony.
We got Tony. Real quick before we get Tony back, just really rest in peace, Val Kilmer.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
65. 60. What an actor.
Huge.
Very
he went to Chatsworth High School. I didn't know he went to Chatsworth. Kevin Spacey, the forlorn Kevin Spacey went there. And someone else went there that was a big actress actor.
Yeah.
And I watched his documentary before this whole thing happened. And wow, what an unbelievable artist. And said he's too young.
You know what they say? When I came up, you got to fake it to make it. And that's what Val Kilmer did. And Josh Brolin, they came up with a fake resume, right? And the casting director would look at him and go, come on, you did Shakespeare in the Park? What? No, you're 17 years old. So yeah, you got to fake it to make it, but not too much fake, not too much. But, this is great. We've had so many great people on the show in 100 episodes. Carrot Top, he was fantastic. But Tony, it's amazing how he remembers these stories like they happened yesterday, right?
Okay. Let me take you out, brother. And then Tony's ready to come back in the queue. So I'll take you out. I'll get Tony in.
Mark.
I'm here.
Tony, you look good, buddy. What's up with you? Are you using all the George Hamilton products?
Yeah. George Hamilton. Oh, God, I can't believe you just pulled that name out of a bag, man.
Did
But
you
I don't
ever
have
use-
his tan. But listen, you know what happened? We
Okay.
just lost you because I'm in the middle of a tornado watch here in Branson.
Oh boy.
I just got back from Vegas. So if there's anything, everybody watching, if there's anything kind of a thing happening, it's because we're getting cut off on signal because of the weather.
Gotcha. I want to start by saying, Tony, I love you.
I
Your
love
family.
you.
I really do love you. If you ever need me, I'm there in about 4 days. But no,
I always need you. Let me tell you, Fish, I got to tell you something, okay? Your buddy here has more heart in his body than most people know in a lifetime. Am I right? I mean, is there anybody you've ever met who cares about people like that guy? I know you do too because you're partners, but man, I got to tell you something, Brad. You know, ever since we did That's My Boy, in fact, recently I watched it. I had to go through that. What's up again, you know?
Oh,
And it's funny because I was telling Adam recently, Adam Sandler, I said, you know, it's so crazy. I'm enjoying my retirement in show business for 64 years, right? Had all these hit records, a television show, and anybody under the age of 50, they look at me and go, oh, yeah, I know you. What's up? My whole career. You know?
Yeah, we the first question I have for you, I want you to talk about your family. You have 2 incredible kids, a beautiful wife. Tell me a little bit about Franny. Tell me a little bit about Jenny and of course the man, John Orlando.
Well, you see, this is why, Big Fish, this is why I love Brad so much, Eric, because this is the kind of first question you don't get from people. So where does he go? He goes right to my heart. What's in my heart? All the 3 names he just mentioned, right? So I'm married to Franny 35 years. Tomorrow, April 3rd, I will be 81 years old.
No way. Oh my gosh, that's great. You're on the show. Oh,
Right?
baby.
Happy birthday to me, right? So I'm 81. I've known Franny, my wife of 35 years, 50 of those 35 years.
Wow.
Okay, so when I was on Howard Stern, he started doing the math. I said, okay, well, wait a minute now. Hang on. Tony, let me get this right. He said, you know, his voice. I can't do his voice. He goes, Tony, let me get this right. So she was 13 when you met her? I said, yeah, but only you would take it there. Only your sick head would take it there. Yes, I met her when she was 13, never thinking in a million jillion years that this would be the mother of my daughter and my wife. Because when I met her with her family. They were there. She was waiting for an autograph. Can I have your autograph, please? And I would say, it was at Disneyland, as a matter of fact. It was the girls, Thelma, Joyce, and I, the first gig we ever had. Tomorrowland, significantly, prediction, Tomorrowland, right? Little did I know what was to come for tomorrow. So this little girl is sitting out there with her mother, her brother, and her aunt with a little pad and pencil. I come off stage because I was the everything then. I cleaned up the stage. I put the music back in. I saw down the drums, everything, right? So I see this little kid and I see a cop scooting her away. I said, wait a minute. Young, you want my autograph? I would. I said, officer, the only person that is asking me for an autograph in my whole life, you're going to shush away? Are you crazy? Come over here. Now this little 13-year-old was walking over to a 26-year-old and says, and I go, first of all, what's your name? Francine. Hi, Francine. You have a boyfriend? You have a boyfriend? Yes. His name is Bob. You tell Bob that Uncle Tony is going to come after him if he's not nice to you. You understand that? I do. So I write, dear Franny, is your name Franny? It is now. Okay, my name is Franny. God bless you. Thank you for asking for my autograph, Tony Orlando and Dawn. All right? I go on. I don't see this kid, this young girl. One day, I'm in Vegas. I'm now opening in Vegas, from Disneyland to Vegas. Because this is 1973. I'm at the Riviera Hotel opening for Don Rickles.
Oh, yes.
Right? At the famous Riviera Hotel, right?
Yes.
And we walk out. I look down the front of the stage, and who's sitting there? Franny. She's sitting there right in the front row, like that little kid sitting there with her mother and her Aunt Josie, who I didn't know then. Didn't even know them yet. I look down and I say to her, "Is that you from Disneyland?" Yes, it's me. I said, "Oh, hi, thank you for coming. Come on backstage with your mom." They come backstage. They came backstage every single year up until she was 20, 21, 22.
Did they live in Vegas? Did they live in Vegas? No.
Yeah, I would walk out every opening night in Vegas, and there they were in the front row. Never asked for comps, always paid their way, sitting in the front row. Comes about 22 years old, 23, 24, 25, 26, was I don't hear or see this girl or her family. I'm thinking, whatever happened to them? All of a sudden, I'm at the Hilton Hotel, the same hotel that Elvis worked, right? In Vegas. I walk out. I have the #1 record in the country. I have the big hit records. I walk out, and there's now this beautiful woman, Franny, sitting in front row. I am now, this is like 1989 already. So I've already had the hits. I had everything. Things are done. I'm still headlining in Vegas. And I walk out, and sitting in the front row is Rose, her mom, and Franny. And I look down and I go, oh my God. She grew up to be so beautiful. Holy mackerel. So I'm single, but I'm still not thinking, because she's still that 13-year-old kid to me, right? Right. Eric, I'm going, wait a minute, Fish. This is a woman now. So she's like 30, something like that. Yeah, 30 years old, 29, 30 years old. So I go up, I meet them. She says to me, would you come to my father's birthday party? He's never met you. And I know you're busy, but he loves you and he would love. I said, you know what, Franny, I'll come. I said to Larry Marinaki, my road manager, would you make sure that we go? You know, Larry, yeah, okay. 3 months go by, and Larry calls me and he goes, Tony, you missed Francine's father's birthday party. They had yellow ribbons all over the street.
Oh my God.
Yellow ribbons on the door. They had yellow ribbons on the car. She was wearing yellow ribbons and you didn't show up. I went, oh my God. I gotta make up with this. I'm so sorry. I call up. Now remember, I've known these people since she's 13. She's now 30, right? I call up. I said, listen, Fran, I'm so sorry about it. You know, her father passes away.
Oh, no.
Now I never meet the dad, right? Now I'm really guilt-ridden.
Yeah.
I say, Franny, listen, I didn't make it to your father's birthday party. I hear he's passed away. I don't even know where to begin. She goes, just like this. Oh, I know you're busy. He wasn't mad. I wasn't mad. Yeah, but I heard you had yellow ribbons everywhere. Yeah, but we understand. I went, let me ask you, how do I make this up? How about, can I meet you and Rose for dinner? She said, you can meet me for dinner, but not Rose.
Whoa, here we go.
Shy to this day, would never say something like that. I was like, what? She said, yeah, after all those shows, you owe me at least a cup of coffee. So I go and I sit with her. What's to be a cup of coffee turns out to be a 6-hour talk. In the middle of the 6-hour talk, I say, what are you doing Sunday? She says, Sunday is Mother's Day. I'm taking my mom out to see my sister-in-law, who doesn't believe I even know you. I said, no, I'm taking you to your sister-in-law. I'm taking your mom to your sister-in-law. I'm bringing her out for Mother's Day. This way I feel like I made it up to you. I go pick them up. I drive them out to the house. The sister-in-law, who doesn't believe she knows me, I knock on the door, opens the door, and I said, "Hi, it's me, Tony Orlando." She goes, "Holy shit. You really do know him. Oh, my God." I go in. This is the truth. 5 hours into the dinner, I swear to you, I don't know why, but I saw such a relationship there. I said to her mom, "Rose, would you mind if I asked your daughter for marriage?"
What? On Mother's Day?
On Mother's Day.
That's fantastic. Oh my gosh. And
Well,
she said no. She
her
said
mother
no.
was in shock. Her brother was in shock. Her sister almost passed out. She almost passed out. And she said yes. And here we are, 35-year marriage later, 50-year friendship. And I'm on your show telling you the story.
Wow.
Now, how long did you have to go to jail after you met her at 13?
That's what Howard said too.
Then she met you when she was Tony.
That's what happened.
Now you guys are thinking about you're thinking about Jerry Lee Lewis. Who did that? Jerry Lee Lewis married his 15-year-old cousin, and she was 13 when they started dating.
Weird about that. It's funny you bring that up. John will tell you this is true. John's mom, who I was married to 18 years, who do you think was with Jerry Lee Lewis's young illegal bride, babysitting her at the New York City at the Paramount Theater across the street? Was Elaine Orlando, John's mom?
No way.
Babysitting Jerry Lee Lewis's bride-to-be, who was underage, okay? Because she was the head of Jerry Lee Lewis's fan club.
Oh my God!
So how crazy is that question that you just brought up?
It's all good. Can you tell us about Jenny and John? Give us some great stories about raising your children.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I'd like to hear about your daughter and your son, John, raising them and how proud you are of them, that kind of thing.
My son, John, of course, is from Elaine's marriage. My son, John, and I connected and cemented our father and son relationship based on one thing: baseball. If we didn't go to the Dodger games every time we had a chance. Now, remember, I was away for both of my children most of their lives. I'm on the road, right? So thank God for baseball and Tommy Lasorda and Steve Garvey and all those guys, because they made my father and son relationship perfect. And we had 4 seats at Dodger Stadium, and we spent as much time as possible going to those games backstage with Tommy. John grew up literally in Tommy Lasorda's dressing room. Literally. And sometimes to the point where it was painful because Tommy would come out of the shower and that wasn't easy to watch.
Ooh, that's frightening.
Hey, wait a minute. You're going to ruin my son's life. Get back, get some clothes on you, buddy. Right? Well, my friendship with John, I say friendship with John, was cemented. Father and son love was always there and will always be there. But the friendship, the camaraderie, the communication came because my love for baseball, his love for baseball. And by the way, he could have played the major leagues. I want you to know he was one great baseball player, John.
Yeah.
He played shortstop all his life, and he was a killer shortstop player. He should have followed through with baseball because he had the goods to make it. He doesn't think so, but I'm telling you, he did. And I'm not just saying that as a dad. But when he went to UNLV, it ended there. I think college ball kind of made him go, wait a minute, this is another league. And the confidence kind of like went away. But he did have the goods to become a ball player. Then we move on to my daughter, Jenny. My daughter, Jenny, of course, is our daughter, Jenny, from Franny and my marriage. I don't think, and John would agree with me on this, you will ever meet, ever in your lifetime, a more respectable, giving, loving human being than my daughter, Jenny. There is no rough edges to her. with both of my children, I never had a problem. I never had an argument. They never went to jail. They were never druggies. They never drank. They never went in through the Tony Orlando, like you hear kids that have famous parents or something go through problems. I never had that. Never. And so I only had 2 children who give unbelievable heart to everybody they know and meet. You've been friends with John a long time. I recently met somebody at the Debbie Gibson Woman of the Year thing in Vegas recently. She's the photographer. She walks up to me and says, listen, I love your son. He was so good to me. He has such a big heart. And everybody that knows him feels that way. The same thing with my daughter, Jenny. So as a parent, the greatest compliment you can get in life is that people feel this way about your kids.
Yeah.
They are a tribute to both their mothers.
And by
the way, my wife, Franny, is very much sponge mom, as what John calls her, to John as well. And Elaine and Franny, before Elaine's passing, passed each other best respect at the very end of Elaine's life, which I think was a very important thing for John. Because anytime, like me, I came from a divorced parents. Jenny will never know what it is to become a sibling of a divorced parent, but it isn't easy.
By the way, is Jenny single?
Brad, easy now.
No, I was thinking about coming out for Mother's Day.
Up now, Brad. Ease up. I love you.
I'm a nice guy. I'm a Jew. I'm a fat Jew, funny guy, no money, but I'm a nurturer. She's gorgeous. Maybe I'll come out for Mother's Day and ask her to marry her.
Hey, listen. Honestly, she'll kill me for saying this, but if you were ever her boyfriend, it would be a privilege to her parents. You're a great guy. You got a heart of gold. You're an amazing person. I know your sister like she's my sister. I know your family. And Eric, the same for you. You guys, Fish and Brad, as they call you. They call you Grummy?
Grunny.
Why
you can call me Grummy. You can call me Grummy.
Why is that?
Grunny, because Grunberg and then Grunny. It's
I got a Grunberg for Grunny.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Can we get a light on in there, Tony? Is that okay? It's okay.
Yeah, the lighting.
Questions for Tony. Do you have some questions for Tony?
Well, no, the whole theme of this so far, and it's very touching, is about how big his kids' hearts are. I know John really well, and just a wonderful guy. One day, hopefully, I'll meet Jenny, and you already talked about, Tony, the heart of Brad, which is I've known him for so long. But let me show you a picture of someone that stole hearts. My mother's, rest in peace. Look at Tony in 1965. That's not Bobby Darin. That's not Frankie Valli. That's not Bobby Darin. That's not Steve Lawrence, rest in peace. Look at Tony in 65. Remember that, Tony?
Wow. That's 1961.
Oh, okay. I had a 60. Wow.
Gorgeous. Tony.
That's a rock star. Did you ever have was there any movies in your life? Did they ever say to you back then, let's get you on the silver screen?
In 1961?
Well, that picture, that face. I mean, you're already singing.
Oh, no. I never. No. As a matter of fact, in 1961, my first hit record was called Halfway to Paradise. It was also Carole King's first hit record as a songwriter.
Ooh.
Oh.
So we were together. We went to the studio together. The second record that backed that up in 61 was written by a guy named Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil. They are also in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They are also Academy Award winners. So in 1961, there was Carol, her husband Jerry, iconic songwriters, Goffin and King. Mann and Weil, married, iconic songwriters, okay? The four of them and myself and Donnie Kirshner started together with Neil Sedaka. We were all in the same office together. Also, Simon and Garfunkel, who they started with us also. But they were called Tom and Jerry back then. They didn't become famous until they changed their name back to Simon and Garfunkel.
By the way, Tony, you're Cassavetes. How come you went to Orlando and John was Cassavetes too? Why did you go to Orlando? How did that come about?
Okay, so I signed with Don Kirshner, who was the guru of the music business back then. So he says, and he introduces me to a lawyer at Columbia Records that was not yet in the higher echelon. He was fifth on the totem pole by the name of Clive Davis.
Oh.
So Clive Davis was the lawyer that signed me at 16 years old to Epic Records. I was the first pop artist on that label. So Donnie says, Kirshner says, what's your name? I said, Michael Cassavetes. He said, we can't use Michael Cassavetes as a stage name, Tony. And then Tony Michael, he said, you sound like a lawyer. Michael Cassavetes? No way. You got Paul Anka, Frankie Avalon, Fabian, Michael Cassavetes, 16-year-old, impossible. My mother, who's there, says, well, his middle name is Orlando. Why don't we just call him Orlando like Fabian? And I go, that's the worst idea I ever heard, Mom. I can't be called Orlando. It sounds like a magician. The great Orlando. It sounds terrible. Kirsten goes, no other names in your family? I said, well, I'm Catholic. My confirmation name is Anthony. Anthony. Tony? Yeah. Tony Orlando.
Oh.
That's your name? Yeah. That's your name. And that's how it was born.
That's amazing. You know, Fish is a huge fan of yours. When I told him that we did That's My Boy together, and my sister climbed under the table at the Riviera because she's your favorite, and my sister, she loves you still to this day. I know your life has been like, I mean, you've had ups and downs, you know, with Freddie Prinze and, you know, your best friend and all that stuff. But look at you, you came out on top. I mean, I saw you got an Italian award, I think in Vegas. Johnny was there.
In the last year, I think they think I'm passing away or something. I keep getting
oh my God.
Achievement awards. I think they're telling me something. I'm going to be 81 tomorrow, so I understand.
Wow.
But I've gotten these wonderful honors from 3 Italian-American, wonderful Chicago Italian-Americans. But I mean, some of the greats I didn't realize, and also inducted into the New Jersey Hall of Fame.
That's the one.
By Clive Davis and Dionne Warwick. And that one was amazing because, of course, you have Sinatra in that Hall of Fame. You have Whitney Houston. You have, you know, Bruce Springsteen. You have Frankie Valli. And there I was, you know, being inducted by the great Clive Davis and my sister, Dionne Warwick.
Oh, my God.
There was also Patty, Bruce's wife, being inducted on the same day. So it was
love Bruce Springsteen. There was a thing just recently, his baseball buddy passed away, and that's how he got Glory Days. He wrote the song for his buddy. And oh my God, I cried watching it on the news.
You know what really impressed me about him, Brad? He walked up to me at that thing. Listen to this, Fish. He walks up to me singing Halfway to Paradise, which I told you was the first record when I was 16. So he's walking towards me at the Hall of Fame, going like this. I want to be your lover. I go, Bruce, you know every word of Halfway to Paradise? He said, Tony, man, come on. Before there was a Temptations, before there was a Smokey Robinson, before there was a Bruce Springsteen, before there was a Rolling Stones, before there was a Beatles, there was a Tony Orlando. You were the lead horse, mother effer.
You know, at that awards thing, you know, Johnny
is the sweetest guy. He is the nicest. The boss is the boss.
What you see is what you get. At that award show, you looked at Johnny and he blew you a kiss, and I saw emotion out of his eyes. See, Johnny doesn't show a lot of emotion, and he cried when you got the award. And I remember we interviewed him, Fish, and he talked about his mother, and her last words were like, "Be kind, John, be kind." And he got emotional. I would have loved to have met her, but Tony, your life is just like, oh, go ahead.
You know John a long time.
Yeah.
And you're close. And one of the things that I'm impressed about with my son is that he has 14,000 friends on his phone. and he stays in touch with all of them.
Yeah.
That is something very special. I said, John, wait a minute. You spoke to who? Your high school coach? See, I speak to him all the time.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. The girl I spoke to at the Debbie Gibson thing the other night says she hasn't spoken to you, and you've been speaking to. She was with you 8 years ago, and you still talk on the phone once in a while. He goes, yeah. He keeps in touch with everyone.
He does. He's quite a guy. I mean, you know, he's a chip off the old block.
Sure
You're gonna like this story, Fish. So Tony graciously gave me tickets to the one of his last concerts. It's in Vegas at what's the hotel? South Point. And I was there, and I went my seats, and then this little Jewish lady comes up to me, and she goes, "Who are you?" I go, "I'm Johnny Cocktails, friends with Tony." "I'm friends with Tony too." I go, "Oh." She interviewed me for I think the Las Vegas Gazette, and then she said, "I'll see you backstage." So after Tony's concert, you go backstage. Well, she was first in line at the stage door. So then they go, "Brad Grunberg," and I walk by her. I go, "I guess I got more juice than you, honey." And I walk in, and Will Forte was there. It was unbelievable. But who was that lady? Who is that lady, John?
I don't know.
Oh, she's a little tiny Jewish lady, and she writes for the Las Vegas Gazette. Or so she comes.
Honestly, I don't even remember her name. I don't even.
Oh, okay. She's a big fan. She didn't like me because I beat the line. Thank you. But Tony, I mean, you know a lot of people. The stories, unbelievable. Were you a bad kid growing up? Where'd you grow up in New York?
Yeah.
Or were you a bad kid at all?
Midtown Manhattan. 21st. If you know New York, it's 21st Street between 8th and 9th Avenue. So no, 7th and 8th Avenue. 8th and 9th Avenue, 21st was my grammar school. So everything happened on that. You know, it's funny when you grow up in New York. Your block is your town.
Yeah.
You don't live in New York. You live on your block. You know, that's, Jenny from the block. There's a reason why it's Jenny from the block.
Yeah, I'm dating her now, by the way. I'm dating her.
If you were to think growing up that you live in the city of New York, you couldn't. You can't think that way. But if you say, I know everybody on my block, it becomes one small town, and then another small town, and then another small town. So my town was 21st Street. My school was 21st Street, PS 11. My candy store, Sam's Candy Store on 8th Avenue, was my hangout. Ooh. My baseball was from sewer to sewer on 21st Street. Right. My stoop, my steps in front of my house was where I sat and hung with my friends. Everything was on 21st Street.
Wow. Eric, you got some stuff. You got some.
Well, everything's a segue, and Tony, just a great story about Don Kirshner, and goes from Michael Cassavetes to Tony Orlando. Let me bring up a picture of what I think is one of the story parts of your career. There's you with the two girls, Tony Orlando and Dawn. My first question to you, Tony, is it true that they chose the name Dawn was the middle name of the daughter of your record label executive, Steve Wax? Is that true?
Yeah. What happened was Hank Medras, who produced Candida, produced the record. Now, remember, at that time, I wasn't thinking about being an artist. I was vice president of CBS Music. At 23 years old, I was sitting back there with a title like that in the biggest music publishing company in the world.
Wow.
And my boss was Clive Davis. I never saw high school. I wasn't going to mess with my job. I was making vice president's salary at 23 years old, right? I'm representing Blood, Sweat, and Tears and James Taylor and Laura Nyro and Grateful Dead and all these acts, right? And I did a favor for a friend, put my vocal on his record. He sells it. And I said, don't tell him it's me. I'm going to lose my job, Hank. Won't tell him it's me. You can go sell your record and make your money, but don't tell him it's me. So what does he do? He says, I'm going to name the group after the vice president promotion for Bell Records, which is now Arista Records. His name is Steve Wax, and his daughter's name is Dawn. Yeah, that's it. I'm calling the group Dawn. That's how it happened.
Wow. That is phenomenal. What are you doing now? What's happening in your life? I know you have a radio show. What
Well,
are
the
you
radio
doing?
show's #1 in New York. The
Oh,
radio,
wow.
the radio
That's
show's
fun.
#1. Not only is it #1 after the last 5 years, but it also streams to 173 countries, and we get mail from every one of those countries.
And
And
you do
all
it right. You
states.
do it right there at the
I've had
house.
everybody in that show, from Adam Sandler to Lionel Richie to Garth Brooks to Smokey Robinson to Clive Davis to Les Garland, the founder of MTV, to just about everybody. And it's been a glorious run. I'm still doing that. I've written 2 ideas for 2 screenplays. One of them looks very promising. I'm using my writing muscle, writing a new book about all the experiences I've had, not a life story, but untold stories that I think people would love about presidents,
Oh, my
sports stars, superstars, moments with them, just what it's been like for a kid who had a journey that was like a magic carpet ride.
You deserve it,
I have
Tony.
I want to add something, and we talked about this on the last times we've had Tony, but I think for our new viewers and listeners, your active role in what you do for the American military has to be talked about. We know when Brad and I were kids. Well, Brad's only 38, I'll tell you. But when I was a kid, Bob Hope was the guy. You took over that, and I know. And I think you should talk about, if you can, your active role in that, because I mean it means a lot to me personally, and I think people should know that.
Well, it means a lot to me that you just brought that up, because if there was only 2 things I ever really felt a passion that I had to do with this blessing that God has given me. To raise money with Jerry Lewis on Muscular Dystrophy Telethon for 33 years. I co-hosted that with him. And then the military. And you speak of Bob Hope. So the first time I ever sang Yellow Ribbon to an audience was because of Bob Hope. I get a phone call from Bob Hope. Now, young people who watch your show, and I know you have a very young audience, a lot of them don't remember who Bob Hope is. They just don't. So let me just help them along. Bob Hope was a megastar. Presidents saluted Bob Hope. He was a superstar movie guy. He was a superstar television guy. He was the man, comedy. Comedians saluted him and bowed to him. That's how big Bob Hope was back then. So in 1973, Yellow Ribbon comes out. I get a phone call from him. I couldn't believe it was him, but it was. Inviting me to come to sing that song to bring home our POWs from Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. At the Cotton Bowl with 70,000 people. Well, of course I go. I'm the opening act. There they are, 500 of the bravest guys I'm ever about to meet in my life, sitting on the 50-yard line. 70,000 people singing Yellow Ribbon. I look down and I see those 500 guys whose eyes hadn't even adjusted to daylight yet because of their Hanoi Hilton. They were in jail 7, 8, 9 years, imprisoned. And there they are singing this song, except one POW sitting in the front row with his head down. That was killing me. I couldn't figure out, why is this guy, what did I do to make this guy look so angry? So I come off, I said, Hope, Mr. Hope, great job, Tony. I said, Mr. Hope, Mr. Hope, Mr. Hope, did you see that guy in the front row looking down at the floor? Did I say anything up on that stage? Because I have the tendency to talk to ladies, you just found out. So I just go, do you, did I say anything? He goes, go up and ask him after the show, Tony. So I walk up to the POW, prisoner of war. Excuse me, did I say anything to hurt your feelings? I noticed you were looking down at the floor with all your friends, all your buddies were singing with me, clapping their hands. He goes, Tony, I'm so sorry. Let me introduce myself to you. My name is John McCain.
Oh, wow.
Senator McCain.
Wow. They pulled my shoulders out of socket and broke my arms. I can't clap my hands. I'm so sorry. What you really saw me doing is I was looking down at my big toe, keeping time to your song.
Oh, God. Wow.
When he said that to me, I became friends with John and then friends with those 500. and remain friends with them to this day. In fact, I reunion with them every single year for 54 years.
Wow.
50
Wow.
with them every single year. We have had a reunion together, the POWs and all this stuff. So then that opened up my heart to help veterans. So I don't even know how much money. Some people say it's 100 million. Some people say it's 50 million. It doesn't matter. If it's $10, I'm happy. As long as I'm doing it, as long as I'm making sure that they get the money. But if it's 50 million or 100 million, which I'm not surprised, because after, that's since 1973, I've been doing veteran shows, especially in Branson, 25. And all the money for all that came in in Branson for those veteran shows went to veterans. And remember, Branson, a little town, it draws 10 million people a year to this day. So, yeah, veterans has been my love, and I'm now part of a foundation called Tribute to Valor. Please let me plug it, if you don't mind.
Right.
Look it up. What we
Please.
do is Gary Luttrell, who's a Medal of Honor recipient, and started a foundation in where we take kids from areas all over the country, from high schools, and we fly them on 3 C-130s that are given to us by the Air Force. We fly them for their town to NASA. They go to NASA to be inspired in robotics, aeronautics, space travel. And I'm telling you, since before the pandemic, we have seen 75,000 young people. Valor. So if you see it on YouTube, look it up. Help us out however you can. Tribute to Valor, founded by Gary Luttrell, and I'm on the board.
Tony, I singing is your passion, but helping people, that's right up there too. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Fish does it. You do it. I try to do it.
You do it like juice. You do it with a phone call. I'll get a phone. You know something, Fish? I get a text from your buddy, from your partner here, out of the blue, and it's a love message. It's just, I love you, Tony. It's no, he's not asking for nothing. It's just, I'm thinking of you. I'm driving my car. How are you? I love you. This has gone on since the day I met him on That's My Boy. It's never stopped.
I was on Brad's, Tony, I was on Brad's podcast. He did a podcast with a young lady, and I just reconnected with them after 32 years. And she says on the podcast, you wouldn't believe this guy, Fish. We're running around, we're doing work for a commercial or something like that. And we stop at McDonald's and he gets 100 hamburgers because they went by a homeless, people homeless, and he just gives them to the homeless people. And I said, wow, that's a lot. That's a mensch.
It's so easy to be nice in life, you guys.
My
wife, it's so hard to be a prick.
Boy, I'll tell you what, and I believe this. I believe that the higher power recognizes you, Brad. I believe that. And I believe that he has his hand on all of us, even people who don't believe in him. I really believe that. And I believe that Lord up above, let me tell you, think about this for a second. There is a nation that doesn't have a God. There is a people on the planet that doesn't have a God. My God, I'm Christian. I'm raised Christian. Okay. There's a thunder. If you're hearing that, it's thunder here in Branson. We're under a tornado, by the way. If I leave you guys, I'm going to the basement. Understand? Yep. And then I'll call you after.
No, that's fine. We're wrapping it up because you have to be somewhere. Jenny told us.
I do, but you hook me every time. But let me just say this to you.
Yeah.
My sister Rhonda was born with an IQ of an 8-month-old baby, which means I raised her till she was 21, which means I really met an angel. Because if someone had an IQ of an 8-month-old baby until they're 21, they've never sinned. They've never hurt anybody. They've never lied. They've never done anything wrong. And because I took care of her like she was mine with such deep love for my sister Rhonda, I believe God said, hey, I sent an angel to you and you took care of her. I'm going to take care of you now. Because there's no way possible, Brad Fish, that I, with an 8th grade education, should have able to be in show business for 64 years. 54 of those years headlining in Vegas. Worked for 9 presidents. The Queen of England, have seen and tasted foods of 34 different countries, have had my own television show, have made movies, have stayed in the batter's box at Yankee Stadium and Dodger Stadium and played ball there and met my greatest heroes of all time. There is no way that that is not God's hand, and be blessed by 2 beautiful children like John and Jenny.
But you've given back. And in closing, you give back. All these wonderful things have happened to you, Tony, and you don't take them for granted. You give back when you can. You're a special guy, buddy. You're really a special guy. And I'm so honored and I'm so happy that I met you on That's My Boy. And Adam Sandler, we love you, buddy. He's the greatest.
There's
Ladies and
nobody like
gentlemen, what?
Brad, there's nobody like Adam.
Oh,
There is nobody
so
like
blessed to meet him. Yeah, you can't even describe. He does so many quiet things for people that they never will ever know. He doesn't do it and walk into a children's hospital with a crew, into a sick child's room. Adam is a special guy, and it's nice that we all kind of stick together. You know what I'm saying? But Tony, I just
a very strong family out of That's My Boy. We all have stuff.
Oh, I know. It's so good. Oh, it's so funny. And just to tell the audience, I was 420 pounds when I did the marathon. You were not 420 pounds.
Close. I was 305 on that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
And now I'm 285.
I lost your part. I got that part because they turned me down for your part.
Tony Orlando, 100 is in the books with Tony. Thank you, Tony. Let's keep in touch.
I love you both. I love you both. Have me on more, okay? Because I love to talk with you guys.
And by the way, happy, healthy 81, baby, tomorrow.
Yes.
Good health, happiness. And as my grandma would say, you should only sei gesund. Okay? Tony Orlando.
Next time I see you, let's go spaziering, okay?
Oh, absolutely. Tony, you're in Vegas. I'll come see you. We'll go to Fish's Bar.
Let's tell everybody what spaziering means.
I'm sorry?
What does spaziering mean?
Oh,
hanging out.
What does it mean in Yiddish?
What does that mean?
Cruising,
hanging out.
Cruising around town.
Cruising. See,
yeah.
I listen. I learned the words from Tony on the street.
How about this one? Tuchis Aventush.
What does that mean? You got a
nice on the table.
Tony, you know Yiddish, you know Spanish. Tony, thank you.
Love to your sister. You guys are the best.
Bye-bye. The girls and your son, okay?
Thanks, Tony.
We love you. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye, Tony.
Bye. 100 with the... I'm speechless. Was that amazing? How great was that? Sorry, I talked so much, but...
I don't give a shit. That was one of the best podcasts I've ever talked too much. Wow, right? The stories. He comes up with different stories.
Every
time. The only thing I take out of this is when I see John, sometimes John gets quiet. Do you think he has PTSD from seeing Tommy Lasorda's dick more than Tommy Lasorda's wife saw it? I mean, that was such a great...
years old.
Everything.
Oh my God, Italian sausage.
Well, the first thing I think about, the first thing I think about is he meets a 13-year-old. I think about Jerry Lee Lewis. And then, then his wife is babysitting. I mean, it's just...
Is that crazy?
Brad, it's so great that you've brought me.
That I met
him. And I've met a lot of celebrities doing podcasts, but that guy, his resume, 64 years, what he does for people. If there's a heaven, is he not on the first ballot to get in?
Are you kidding me? He opens the door for himself.
Yeah.
That's Pearly Gates.
He tells St. Peter who's getting in. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Good.
He's just a great man who has lived his life, ups and downs, but he always comes out the other side. I'm sorry. Let's move on. Making amends is very easy to do. The 2 words, I'm sorry, right? But a lot of people I know can't say them sorry,
Not accountable. No.
Yeah. Tony says he's sorry, and Tony moves on. But with all the bad that happened in his life, that doesn't even equate to the goodness this guy has done. He's made amends tenfold. I know other stories what he's done. He is just one special guy, and we
A
need more
genius.
people like that.
He's a
Right?
genius. He took I never knew the story about his little sister, and he
Yeah.
takes a girl that has an 8-month, the mind of an 8-month old, but then the 8th grade education, and to have the talent. Now he is go back, young audience, listen to Candida, listen to Knock
Yeah.
Three Times. Was it not the
Oh,
famous
tie
one?
the yellow ribbon around the old oak tree. Yep.
Listen to his voice. He's
Great.
phenomenal.
And
That's all I
when
gotta say.
I saw him in Vegas at the South Point, he still got it. He still got it. And the crowd was going wild. I was going wild. I was making out with that old Jewish lady who wanted to beat me on the line. No, I'm kidding.
Did
But she
marry
was
her?
cute. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So
Top to toe.
what do you take out of the 100 that we've done? What are your top? My top 3 is right there today. I love Carrot Top. I love one of my favorite ones we talked about was you found a guy in your lift named Tank Sammer, who was the head security at Cedars Sinai. And what I take out of your personality and your great
not Cedars, L.A. Hospital.
LA Hospital, wherever he was. I forgot what hospital he was. It could have been anywhere. Temple Hospital. Make a long story short, what I take out of that and being with you and your sense of humor was the stories. That's what podcasts about. So what's your top 3 off the top of your head?
One was John Orlando because I've known him a long time. And when he talked about his mother, he started to tear up. The guy is like, he's iron, he doesn't break. But when his mom, and he talked about being kind and stuff, he broke. And I like to see that in people because you know what? We all have a heart. We all have a soul. And it's okay to cry, right?
Absolutely.
You cry every time you see my face. I know.
No. Well, I would cry if I saw the sword his dick. But, Nikki Hatfield's another one. Here's, I don't want to beat that dead horse, but Nikki Hadfield we had on recently is this gorgeous bartender friend of mine. And she's writing poetry. What you learn on podcasts is what makes it so special to me. Don't you agree? From people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the people that we rally for, Molly's Challenge, my friend Andrew Klein, 13-year-old daughter took her own life because she was bullied. Keith Berman, oh my God, your buddy. He's a hero. He has been fighting cancer for a long time. He watches all of our podcasts. We sent him a hat. And there's so many people we have met, but we want to let the audience know that we are now moving on to a different format. Probably the end of April. It's going to be called Fish and Snacks. Who do you think is fish and who do you think is snacks?
Yeah. And we're going to keep the same email, fishgrunny1@gmail.com, because his nickname is Grunny, obviously. Send me the email. I get the emails. Send me what kind of snacks you think he'll eat, and I'll buy it. And if it was a ding dong or a Twinkie, because I would love to see him stuff his face while he does this.
Wow.
He can't wait to get the F out of here. We've cut podcasts short because he's hungry. And you don't want to make Grunny hungry.
I want to show a couple of pictures before 100 ends. This is my nanny, my beautiful grandma who taught me so much. If I listen to her, no good deed goes unpunished. A leopard never changes its spots. Put the money away for a rainy day. I would not be doing this podcast. And this guy, Mr. Fabio. Does everybody know Fabio? This is one of the great looking guy. He used to be on covers of novels. And I was at a restaurant in Hollywood and I saw him and I said, "Can I take a picture with you?" He goes, "Outside in the parking lot when I'm done." So I took off my shirt and he almost took off his shirt. And I saw him at my newsstand because I gave the owner of the newsstand this picture and he looks up, he goes, "Oh my God." And then I was right next to him. I go, "Is that okay?" Fabio goes, "I love it." So I've had a great life. You've had a great life. We're blessed. Yes, we have pressure. We have stress. We have, friends that let us down. But again, you got to just learn from your mistakes and keep trucking.
Yeah. Could I do a plug? I want to thank, because this is an active audience in our life. This is where I bartend, and I've been in a company between the two stores, Montana, over 20 years. And
It's a great place.
What we say is not indicative of this establishment. It's a restaurant, but I get a lot of people that watch and listen, and they love Brad more than me.
Yeah, where is that? Tell me. I know where it is, but where is it? Where's the?
Oh, it's on North Durango, 7155 North Durango, Centennial Hills, across from the Centennial Hills Hospital. I worked there. I've been in this business 45 years. I want to thank them because no matter what I say, and I say some stupid shit, no matter what he does stupid shit. I never get from the bosses, you really can't say that. You know, customers might be pissed off. Never. Although what we say, like I said, is not indicative of that place. And
your disclaimer, yes. But
word disclaimer.
Great restaurant. Incredible food, incredible drinks, incredible atmosphere. They got all the games being played except one problem. Eric Fish Snyder Graveyard. He won't stop talking. But I'm blessed that I got to reconnect with you after 30 years, buddy. And this has been the greatest ride. 100 in the books. Now we go to Fish and Snacks and we make that 1,000.
This is the perfect deodorant for your ball sacks. No more powder in your wig. No more extra cologne for your balls. Mando stops odor before it starts down there where everything is really close together.
It's a blast from the past. All your favorite arcade games like Asteroid, Centipede, Defender, and Galaga. So polish up your old moves. You'll need them to survive the arcade classics. Now available in 2-in-1 game packs for Game Boy and Super Game Boy, baby.
We're not done. We're not done. We got the Johnny Cocktail testimonial. Wait a minute. How about this one?
Whoa. Hello. I'm Elizabeth Taylor. What do we have here? Tina and, Coco. Coco, where do you think you're going? The only people who get to go to the dressing rooms are our fabulous regulars and our open micers after they pass round one. Could you step aside, Coco? And you are?
I was in drag because I'm a method actor.
Got to get the Mando thing. I got more comments about ball sacks, about that, and then obviously the 2 videos I keep on file. You doing that great ad when you weren't 420 pounds, and then you looking like Lainey Kazan in that Sandra Bullock movie. So, what do you think, buddy?
No, that was
100. We're going to continue.
That was Elizabeth Taylor. Sorry,
Elizabeth Taylor. We're going to continue with Fat Fish, and then we're going to have a new. We're not done for April yet, guys. We have a couple more shows to go. Tony Orlando to do show 2 and 200 and show number 100. Blessed.
Thank you, Tony. We love you. And we'll see you next time on Fat Fish.
You've been listening to the Fat Fish Podcast, heard on all your favorite platforms. Until next time.
Nanny!